Okay. Good evening, people. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. And today's topic I want to talk about is the NFL with their new policy with the kneeling during the national anthem. As you know that they were kneeling supposed to be because bring awareness to police brutality and the injustice of black people in America. And NFL with along with all the owners of the NFL, along with Roger Goodell, got together and they decided to come up with a policy saying that, hey, if you're on the field during the national anthem, you have to stand. If you don't stand, if you kneel, take a kneel, whatever, you get a fine, a penalty. And they said if you come out, or you can stay in the locker room. If you come out, you got to stand, or you can stay in the locker room. If you don't stand, you get a penalty. That's what they came up with. That's a new policy they came with. And some people are saying that's unfair. Some people saying they're taking away their freedom of speech. And which, just get one thing straight, NFL never said they're taking away their freedom of speech. Only thing they said, once you're on the clock, which means if once you're out there in that uniform, you step out on that field, you're basically on the clock. So their policy is you stand during the national anthem. So what they're saying is their policy is you stand during the national anthem. That's their policy. The players work for the NFL. The players don't work for themselves, so they didn't tell them that they're not taking away their freedom of speech. They still got freedom of speech because they can still protest and do whatever after hours. Basically after they finish playing the game, they can go out and protest and do whatever they want. But while they're in uniform and on the field, they gotta leave that stuff at home or wherever they leave it at. They're just saying just stand to the national anthem. And a lot of people saying that's not right, it's not fair. Well, hey, what job when they come with a policy, like whatever job you go to in the morning, you gonna be able to clock in, walk in that door, talking about I'm protesting today, and I'm not gonna do no work. What you think the manager gonna tell you? He gonna either tell you either do some work or you go home, or you just don't have a job. If you do got that job, let me know. Inbox me, comment on it, tell me, hey, my job, let me protest all day long. I don't have to do no work. I can just protest. Let me know about this job. I need to know. If that's the case, because nobody no job like that. Ain't no job for let you protest all day or protest. They got every job got its policies. Some policies you might not agree with, but it's part of the job policy. So you got to just go along with whatever their policy is. You work for the company. Now, if you don't like their policy, you can start your own company. But even if you start your own company, you got to have your own policies there too. So you're going to have an employee working for you that might not like your policies. So it always boils down to, that's what the NFL policy is. And they're not taking their freedom of speech away. They still can go protest and, still go to do news interviews telling how they feel about the social injustice or whatever they want to do, but they just can't do it while they're in uniform and on the field. But here's the thing about it now, like I just said, they can still do it on their off time. But they've been off season all this time. I ain't seen any NFL player go out there and voice their opinion on anything or protest anything. But all of a sudden, when it's time for game time, now you want to protest and kneel when the national anthem is getting played. But when the off season, like just now, they're on off season. I ain't heard nothing all this off season about any NFL player out there protesting. I'm doing any social injustice protests and whatnot. None of that. But as soon as the NFL game starts on Sunday, and it's time to play the national anthem, they want to protest and kneel. That which makes me think that some of them are just doing it just to be doing it. They don't even know why they're doing it. It originally started for bring awareness. And you're doing all this protesting and kneeling. Okay, what is your end result? What are you trying to get solved with this protesting and kneeling? If you're trying to protest and kneel, you got to have some kind of end result. What are you trying to get solved? A lot of them ain't trying to get anything solved. They're just kneeling. Now, some of them don't even know why they're kneeling. They don't lost the purpose of what they're protesting about. Even when back on Martin Luther King days when they were protesting and marching, at least they had an end result what they were trying to get solved. Nowadays these guys are protesting and marching. They don't even know what the end result is. They're just protesting. You know they ain't got no end result when they refuse to meet with the president to solve it. Even when Martin Luther King was protesting and marching, he still met with President Johnson. He still sat and met with the man to see what issues they can get resolved. And for an example, when Trump wanted to meet with Meek Mill, get prison reform resolved, he called Meek Mill, said he wanted to meet with him. Guess who gets on the phone and tell him not to meet? Jay-Z and maybe some other celebrities too. Tell him not to meet with him. So let's get this straight. Y'all doing all this protesting. And a lot of them fussing and complaining about the prison reform. Now that Trump wanted to meet with somebody about it, y'all refuse to meet with the man. So, like my first video said, how you gonna get anything resolved if you don't want to meet with him, but you want to do all this protesting? Y'all, you look back when they was doing civil rights time, when they were protesting, they did meet with the leader, the officials and stuff, the presidents and stuff, to see can they get stuff resolved. When they were boycotting the buses, they still went and sat and met with people to get stuff resolved, to give their demands. Nowadays, they protest, and then when the president says, "Let me meet with y'all and sit down and talk," no, don't go meet with them. Okay, what you trying to solve? So if you ain't got no answer, if you're not trying to solve it, you're part of the problem. If you got no solution, you're part of the problem. And that's how I look at it. Meek Mill, how you gonna tell a grown man tell you where to go? Jay-Z telling him it's gonna hurt your career. How you know it's gonna hurt his career? Then they say, well, he was gonna get President Trump was gonna trick him. How do you know? You didn't meet with the man. So now you're going off a bunch of what ifs. What if this, what if that? Instead of meeting with him, then you'll get your facts and know, okay, yeah, he was just bamboozling me. Or you can say, hey, he really did have some answers. You don't know now. You don't know what would have came of the meeting because you didn't meet with the man. And that just makes me think y'all ain't got no end game. You just kneeling. And how long this kneeling I'm glad the NFL did do it, because it was time for this stuff to just stop, because y'all ain't coming with no solution. You got no end game. You saying you bringing awareness to it. Okay, you brought we're aware. We're well aware. Okay, you've been kneeling for the past, 2 seasons. We're aware of what you're trying to do. Okay, we're aware of it. Now, what is your end game to it? What are you trying to get solved from this? So if you got no solution to it, so you're just kneeling and protesting just to be doing something. And some of them probably doing it just to say they part of something. And it's just a bunch of foolishness talking about the police brutality, which I can get on a whole nother subject about the police shootings. On this video, I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'll do it one day, get my opinion on it, how I feel about the police shootings, and what's so-called injustice of the police shootings was my opinion. So far, I say some of them are justified to me. Some of them are. Some of them wasn't. Maybe 1 or 2 of them wasn't. The rest of them was just a bunch of knuckleheads refusing to follow an order. And a lot of it could have been solved by just obeying what the officer said do. He asked for your ID, give the man your ID. Goodness. What's so hard about that? Instead they want to fuss and let's be straight like this. Some of them guys who got killed by the police, some of them guys were straight, their records were like they had a great law-abiding citizens. They had rap sheets longer than you don't know what. So some of them guys were just asking for it anyways. You had a whole bunch of run-ins with the law. And these are the guys that we're protesting for. But then you'll hear about stuff like Tashawn Lee in Chicago, who was shot 9 times by gang members. But nobody protested for that. No national media for that. No Black Lives Matter saying, let's stand up for this guy. The little girl in Ferguson who was sleeping in her bedroom doing homework, drive-by shooting, shot her in the head, killed her by gang members. No protest about that. Nothing said about it. No marching for it. But they're out there marching for your Mike Browns. Saying people like that. But you're not marching for these little young kids who are getting killed innocently by a drive-by shooter. Well, you're not marching for that. But you're marching for these guys who are, let's get straight, they're not law-abiding citizens. So we're kneeling for that, for bringing social adjustment awareness for police brutality, but you're not kneeling and protesting about the violence going on in your neighborhood. about the drugs in your neighborhood, about your rappers rapping about it and glorifying it through their music with sex, drugs, and murder. That's all they rap about. We're not protesting that, but you're protesting police brutality. And but you're not gonna protest the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You talk about that to some people, they don't even want to talk about that. They want to skip right over that and go straight to police brutality. But you look at the numbers and the facts of what's killing our community more. And like I said, this was all about talking about the NFL kneeling of the flag, or kneeling of the anthem, or whatever you want to call it. It was a good call to me on the NFL. You know, it's time to put an end to it, put a stop to that, because, like I said, they ain't got no end game to it. They don't know what they're kneeling about. They're just doing it just to be doing it. So I'm Brady Burks, and I'm out.